Hi everybody, welcome back to Law Hero. My name is Jen and I hope you're all doing well today. So a lot of people ask me, Jen, how do I research law firms? Like, where do I look on the website? So let me just explain the background to this. This is for your cover letter where you're intending to apply as either an intern, paralegal, trainee, of course, or indeed junior associate. That's for all of these people here. So, a broad spectrum of legal applicants. What's really important is that you go on their website first and foremost and understand what their vision is for their brand. So don't forget the law firm is a brand. And like just like with cars, every car brand has their own trademark. They have their own slogans. They have, their own blurb as to what they want to achieve in this world. It's the exact same with law firms. They're brands like Pepsi, Cola, if you think of Sprite, 7-Up, they all have their own colours and all of that stuff. It's no different for law firms, and I'm sure you guys all know that inside out, back to front. Okay, so what is their strategy? What are their values? Where do they stand as regards diversity? Where do they stand in the market? This is all before we even get on to their legal services. What kind of structure is the law firm? Are they an international law firm with, an office in Ireland? Are they an Irish Indigenous law firm? Have they merged in the past with other law firms? Like what is their structure in the Irish marketplace? And I have tons of videos on the Irish legal marketplace. Just check out my video playlist. Who is the managing partner? This is really, really important to know who the managing partner is, because the managing partner sets the tone and dictates what the culture is. It's very, very important to know that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is the practice areas of the law firm. What areas of law they practice in. You really need to know this because you're going to get caught out in the interview or in your cover letter if you make a faux pas around this. Law firms are very, very particular about what areas of law they practice, because it has to be profitable for them, and they also need to be knowledgeable in that area. They're also trying to be business leaders in that area. They want to be recognized in the Legal 500 as being a firm that is highly competent in that area, and the Legal 500 tiers them. That would be tier 1, tier 2, we'll say, in regards to energy and infrastructure, banking and finance, litigation, competition and regulation, IPIT, pharmaceutical, that kind of thing. Know what the practice areas of the law firm are inside out, but also be able to tell them which ones you're interested in and why. And this has to be genuine. I'll give an example. I was studying finance, so obviously finance is very important to me. I research, what partners practice what, how finance was divided up. It was divided up between investment funds, debt capital markets, banking, and then financial regulation. Like, that's just 4 areas of finance off the top of my head. If you really want to get involved in corporate, it could be public entities, which are very, very different to private entities. They have a whole host of different rules because they're on the stock exchange, or they may not be, but still as a PLC you have different rules to limited companies. But also in corporate, then you may have commercial contracts, you may have M&A work, you may have private equity work, and again, that's just corporate and finance broken down like that. So you need to know these things before you go spouting on, I like the work you do. The most important thing as well is that you know the recent deals and the big ticket deals that the firm has done. And for me, the best place to find this type of information is either on the insights part of their website, or on their LinkedIn, where they will list whatever deals they've just been involved in. And it's very important that you know that. Firms are in receipt of awards, different awards every year, so find out what awards that law firm you're applying to has also got. And this goes for who their clients are as well. It's always very impressive when a new employee knows the clients, of the business they're going into. Then the next thing you need to look at is what, if you are going to be a trainee solicitor, what rotations you're going to be sitting on, what kind of professional development you'll be doing as a trainee. If you're an intern, what are you going to be exposed to? If you're junior associate, what are you going to be exposed to? And this is all on the websites. The other thing you could do is actually send a LinkedIn message to someone you know and ask them, like, can you give me some more background about what you do day to day? The internet, there really is no excuse. The internet is full of information at the moment. If you watch my YouTube videos, you're going to have a great idea of what it is to be a trainee, an intern, a junior associate. Diversity and inclusion is really important for law firms, and I'll tell you why. It's because clients no longer want the all white male, middle-aged Denny Crane, Boston Legal type anymore. It's not reflective of society, nor is it reflective of reality when, the legal profession is dominated by women now, yet on the top tables are men. So you can imagine if you're a client, you don't want to buy into that old ways, that old hierarchy, patriarchy. So you have, this is very much a client-driven initiative. It is coming from the Law Society as well, but it is the clients, in my estimation, are driving this. They want to see, a diverse range of people in front of them because that reflects Irish society, so it all comes down to, race, a different age, gender. It's not just gender. Sometimes people think diversity and inclusion is gender, but it really isn't. They want to see LGBTQ, all that kind of stuff. They want to see that there's initiatives around that, and in fairness, in Dublin at least, they definitely have stepped up. Technology is one. You should always see where the law firm sits with technology. Some firms are very far behind, but other firms are very far in front. Just off the top of my head, I know Eversheds are quite good when it comes to technology. So have a look at where they are with technology. This will also feed into your career. You need to understand what kind of law firm you're going into. I mean, if it's an old school litigator, more than likely you're not going to see a lot of litigation. But if it's a top tier firm who's trying to win market share, or even the firms who are in the middle who are trying to go up the ladder, you would see a lot of technology because it's going to make their business more efficient and make their clients happier. And look, at the end of the day, there's always going to be something you find about the law firm that you find particularly interesting. So, for example, I had a trainee before Christmas who was a cello player, and she was particularly interested in, Eversheds because of its location near the National Concert Hall, and she wanted to go there more and stuff. Now, I know it's COVID at the moment, but I thought that was a nice way to introduce yourself to a firm. And, she's also showing her talent, but yet she's showing she understands the relationship between Eversheds and the National Concert Hall. I thought that was nice. You can find out a lot about law firms as well, as I said, on the Legal 500. They'll give very, very good descriptions of the practice areas, and you'll also get a flavour of what the big firms in Ireland are like from that. It's a great resource. It's thelegal500.com. How do you get to know the actual people in the law firm a little bit better? There'll always be, I think Facebook, particularly, for example, Arthur Cox, Goodbodies and Matheson, they do put out, we're going to have open day or open Zoom. Make sure you keep an eye on those. Maybe, have some kind of way of being reminded of those. They're extremely, extremely important, especially with COVID. A lot of it is connections, not so much, it's connections you build yourself, make yourself known. And believe me, the trainee coordinators and the people in HR, they'll see the same names come up time and time again. They'll get very familiar, even though there's so many people in Dublin and indeed Ireland looking for positions. They'll see your name, they're like, oh, that's that person I spoke to. They do remember you, and especially if you're persistent, they're going to remember you even more. And then I noticed as well that there's some brand ambassadors in universities. You can talk to them as well and ask them about the firm, or indeed try and become a brand ambassador yourself, because I think that's a very good way of getting into a business and sticking with the longevity of the business. Other than that, I think that pretty much sums up the kind of research I would have done myself prior to applying to law firms. Being yourself and marrying your interests your genuine interests to the firm is extremely important. Like everybody can pick out a phony a mile away. You know, if you're like, I really love investment funds, and you're replying to, we'll say, like Dylan Eustace, it's going to be very obvious that you don't love investment funds when they start asking you questions. Also, as like a young trainee or intern, you won't know a lot about investment funds, and people always ask me, I don't know anything about investment funds, should I apply to these firms? Of course you should. You'll learn on the job like anything, and you're not expected to know things in great detail. You know, you're expected to know the basics that you learned on the FE1 and also on undergraduate. So as long as you know those, you're fine. And as long as you have, you know, a bit of confidence in yourself and you have some common sense, like that is literally, there is no other competencies required of you other than you can speak up for yourself and you're able to type and research. I mean, it's pretty damn basic at the end of the day, but you need to put your best foot forward in the cover letter and CV, and that's why I provide Milk Round Mastery, or for interns as well, on my website, and if you're interested, have a look. But yeah, best to look in your applications this year. I feel for all of you guys during COVID, it's not necessarily easy, but there are still a lot of positions out there. There is still a lot of work to be done. So just don't give up. Be, you know, relentless in your pursuit, and just realize I'm here to help you. And yeah, I'll see you in the next Law Hero video. Bye bye.